I think that I am pretty fast at scaling out the mise en place. Everything in place to scale out all your ingredients for the formula. I seem to have it done before anybody else. I get it all done, everything where it needs to go, and the steps that it needs to go when you're making the product. I like to work with chocolate. As much as I hate to temper the chocolate, I love to work with it once it's ready to go. It's very enjoyable, not to mention it's delicious. You can do a lot with chocolate. I mean, you could model the chocolate or you can just pipe it on cake. I mean, there's a lot of aspects that you can do. I was clean, plenty of space. I would have outgoing, fun, hardworking people that can do their job and still have a good time. I mean, don't be like serious, but don't slack off and not do anything. If you have somebody that's not doing anything, constantly goofing off, nothing ever gets done. And if I'm going to work, get in and get it out. You know, I'd rather have quality than quantity, but it's still like the process it needs to be. Get it done, then have a good time. If you cannot work as a team, you're not gonna get anything done. There's been many of times where I was in a group and even 1 out of 4 people, if they cannot work with a team, a lot of things get messed up. Because somebody could be adding something extra if they didn't ask, did you already add this? And then you screw up the whole thing. I've worked in restaurants and I've done waitressing, but to know all the different areas of baking and pastry, that's definitely a very good success of mine. Have coming to this school and completed the diploma program in baking and pastry. I came in here thinking I was going to leave here and decorate cakes the rest of my life. And it turns out that I would rather bake and work with the sugar and the chocolate and not decorate cakes at all. I mean, I never worked with the chocolates and the sugars, and I didn't know they could do all of those wonderful things that they do. And it's more of a challenge for me than decorating a cake. In decorating a cake, it just seems like it's the same thing over and over again. I mean, it's a different cake, but you're still doing the same stuff. And with the sugar and the chocolate, it can be anything more creative, more of a challenge, because sugar is very fragile. Chocolate, I mean, it's a little forgiving, but you still have the challenge of getting it to work with you. So I've always liked the baking. I always did it with my grandma when I was little, and my mom started decorating cakes when I was younger, and I went to Scarlet Oaks for the culinary program, and I got down into the bakery. And that's when I was kind of like, yeah, this is it. That's where I want to be at, is in a bakery. I mean, I always liked it, and I went to the culinary school as like, oh, it's free pass, you know, how hard could it be? And I really enjoyed the baking part of it. We are looking at chocolate brownies. It's pretty simple. You just melt the butter and pour it over the chocolate and get that all together. Set it aside, whip up the sugar and the eggs and the vanilla, get that to double in volume, and then add the flour and the chocolate, mix it all together and throw it in a pan and you're good to go. I think it's an art because, as you say, you have obviously the decorating of the cake. I mean, that you have to come up with the idea to even put it on the cake, and then you do have, you know, different strokes, and you have to learn all that stuff just like in drawing or whatever. And then also there's showpieces, and that's really an art. To sit there and blow sugar and model chocolate, I mean, that's just like painting a picture. You still have to have the mindset, the creativity. I cannot draw.
You cannot draw?
I cannot draw. Not at all.
So that's why you're here?
Yes,
you like this because you can still be...
I can actually be an artist, and I always wanted to learn how to draw. It never came to me. Like, I took art classes, never worked out. I just can't do it. And here, I can actually make a rose look like a rose, and it works for me. It is a business, but it's an art because you're creating these things out of your mind. They're not written down somewhere like, this is how you make this type of birthday cake, or it's all out of your head. You do it from your mind. It doesn't come from any book, anywhere. I'd rather love to go to work, because if I don't like going to work, I'm going to be miserable, because that is life, going to work for the most part. I mean, you get to the point where you get to retire and have fun, but for so many years, you got to day in and day out, you have to go to work. And I wouldn't want to go to work and be miserable every day. I'd rather have fun, and so what? I have half the money. Money's not everything.